History holds the answers, or does it? From forgotten maps to ancient secrets buried in plain sight, the world's greatest mysteries remain unsolved, and the truth lies hidden, waiting for you to uncover it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Histories, Mysteries, and Conspiracies. Season 2, Unraveling the Unknown. Where the past isn't just a story, it's a puzzle. Are you ready to piece it together? The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where one ends and the other begins? Edgar Allan Poe. What would you do if you stumbled upon a place whispered to be a gateway to hell? Would you turn away or step closer, drawn by the pull of the unknown? Kansas, a land of rolling plains and small, quiet towns, hides such a place. A site where legends come alive, myths refuse to die, and the unexplained lingers in the shadows. Welcome to Stull Cemetery, a location steeped in folklore and surrounded by chilling tales of ghostly figures, ominous rituals, and even the supernatural avoidance by a pope himself. Tonight, we explore the eerie history of Stull Cemetery, dig into the incredible legend surrounding it, and lay bare the accounts of those brave, or perhaps foolish, enough to stand in its haunting presence. Is it just a resting place for the dead, or does Stull Cemetery truly conceal a darker secret? Stull Cemetery sits quietly in the middle of Kansas, a landlocked heartland of America not typically associated with mystery. Centuries ago, it served its humble purpose as a local burial ground, offering rest to those whose lives had run their course. Beside it stood a modest church, a focal point of faith and community for the surrounding area. The history of the cemetery itself is surprisingly unremarkable. There are no great battles fought nearby, no tragic plagues that swept through its gates. And yet, Stull Cemetery feels different. Its very name evokes a sense of doom, conjuring images of death and decay. Most haunting of all is the tale of the church that once stood beside it. This church was once a beacon of light for worshippers. Legends and myths surround the Stull Cemetery. Some claim it was cursed, while others say that supernatural events occurred mysteriously, destroying the church. The most commonly known myth about the cemetery deals with a prospering Stull, Kansas town in the 1800s. When a peculiar man with a group of women purchased a home on the outskirts of the town. In a moment of rage of uncertainty of the newcomers, the townspeople lynched the man and hung him behind the church. The man who supposedly worshipped the devil and cursed the entire town. Another myth suggests that the devil himself came to Stull, Kansas, and upon entering the church began burning from the inside out. But then came the rumors. A supposed history of rituals performed in the dead of night, cloaked figures with unknown intent, and whispers that the very land beneath Stull Cemetery could be cursed. Those who lived nearby began reporting strange occurrences that solidified the unsettling aura attached to this place. One legend, above all, captured the imagination and fears of many. The idea that this cemetery was not just a graveyard, but a gateway to hell. What does it mean to call a place a gateway to hell? For Stull Cemetery, this myth took root as locals grew wary of entering its grounds after dusk. There were chilling tales, the air turning colder near certain gravestones, the silent presence of shadowy figures seen lurking between the trees. Perhaps the most famous and enduring part of this myth is a story involving the Pope himself. It is said that the Pope refuses to fly over Stull Cemetery, a testament to its malevolence. While no official records support this claim, the very idea keeps this legend alive. Just imagine, even a figure as holy as the Pope avoiding this place, as though sensing an evil so deep it can be felt from above. Whether fact or fiction, these stories only add to the cemetery's fearsome reputation, making it a beacon for believers in the paranormal. and the curious brave enough to test the myths for themselves. Though stories of Stull Cemetery's history may be vague, its paranormal reputation is anything but. Visitors have often reported intense feelings of dread as they walk through the grounds. Some claim to hear strange sounds, whispers carried by the wind, distant footsteps, or the clang of metal echoing in an otherwise silent night. Others say that their electronics fail inexplicably, as though the air itself refuses to allow technology to work. Eyewitness accounts tell of shadowy figures darting between gravestones, always just out of sight, yet leaving the distinct impression of being observed. Some adventurers report glowing lights emanating from the cemetery, while others claim to have seen full-bodied apparitions dressed in old-fashioned clothing, gazing at them before vanishing into thin air. Skeptics argue these are mere tricks of the mind, but even those who don't believe in the supernatural admit there's something unsettling about Stull Cemetery. Perhaps it's the eerie quiet of the place, or the overgrown trees casting unnatural shadows. Whatever it is, this cemetery has a way of making believers out of the doubtful. So what makes Stull Cemetery so infamous? Is it truly paranormal, or do we merely amplify its mystery with our own fear of the unknown? Some experts suggest that our minds can play tricks on us. The isolation of the cemetery, coupled with its ominous name and chilling stories, creates the perfect storm for our imaginations. The legend of a gateway to hell is a powerful narrative. It conjures images of fiery pits and spirits clawing at the surface, waiting for an unlucky visitor to pass by. Our minds often fill in the gaps when something feels unexplainable. Strange lights may be distant reflections, shadowy movements may come from swaying branches, and unusual noises can carry far in the nighttime stillness. Yet, this logical explanation fails to account for the identical experiences shared by so many visitors. Can so many accounts simply be dismissed as fear-induced hallucinations? While the tales of Stull Cemetery chill the blood, they've also carved out a place in local folklore. Residents acknowledge the legends with a mix of fear and pride, as if to say, yes, it's scary, and it's ours. Paranormal investigators and thrill seekers frequently visit the cemetery, hoping to glimpse something inexplicable. The stories often become topics of conversation around campfires and family gatherings, keeping the myths alive for future generations. This eerie reputation turns Stull Cemetery into more than just a burial ground. It becomes a portal to storytelling itself, where the living weave the past, present, and imagined into one chilling narrative. In a book called Haunted Lawrence by Paul Thomas, tells of an intrepid reporter named Jane Penner, who wrote for the University Daily Kansan and documented the devil's travels to the tiny Kansas destination starting around 1976. The University Daily Kansan, like the devil, keeps a tight schedule, as these stories seem to suddenly appear in late September year after year. Could all of this simply stem from human imagination, or is there truth buried beneath the surface? It's easy to dismiss tales of demons, haunted graves, and gateways to hell as folklore. Doubts arise. Why would the Pope truly avoid the area? Could a church's disappearance really be due to something supernatural rather than old age or destruction? But then again, some things defy explanation. Technology failing in particular areas, consistent eyewitness reports, and the overwhelming sense of something wrong felt by visitors are difficult to ignore. In 2022, the remains of the Stull Cemetery Church were finally torn down completely. Today, for most skeptics, it is just a lonely cemetery wrapped up in local myths. For others, it is a chilling reminder that some places are better left alone. The legends of Stull Cemetery refuse to die, just like its residents. Could it truly be a gateway to hell? Or are the stories shaped by nothing more than fear and the human mind's love for the mysterious. Either way, one thing is sure: this Kansas graveyard will continue to haunt the imaginations of those who hear its tales. Would you dare to visit and look for answers yourself? Or would you keep your distance, letting the legends live on, unanswered and eternal? The shadows of Stull Cemetery stretch long and dark. But be careful, what you find here may not want to let you leave. Bravo. Select an option for more.